All right, so recently I took delivery of my new Cybertruck, and within 24 hours I'd fallen in love with its insane power, while also being one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever driven. But like most of you would expect, I had to make some changes. I started the build by getting it wrapped with this wild military design put together by my friends down in Envision.
Nice work, bro.
Thank you, Dave.
You guys crushed it.
Also, I never really loved the proportions on this truck from the factory because, in my opinion, the body is too big for the tires that are on it. I decided to bump it up to an even bigger size, 37-inch Nittos. But that led me to my next question. You see, I'm a truck guy, and truck guys pull trailers, right? Well, what about the Cybertruck? Can it pull a trailer? Can it stand up to what other modern trucks can do? I decided to put together a little test to see for myself. Real quick, before we go get this party started, I want to talk about something very important. It's something that we talk about a lot, as you guys know. AG1 sponsored today's video. So today, I've got an idea. With the help of the Cybertruck, we're gonna mix this bad boy real good. Put this bad boy in here, put the lid on, and then we're gonna attach it to the blender. Looks good to me. I want to talk to you why AG1 is, that's just it. And the reason for that is because it's a daily comprehensive nutritional drink that has 75 different vitamins and minerals, nutrients, whole foods, superfoods, probiotics, prebiotics. I'll tell you some of the things it's done for me. It has improved my gut health. It has improved my focus, my energy levels. I'm really looking forward to getting this thing mixed and taking a sip. Now the moment of truth. It's so good. If you want a chance to potentially feel much better than you do and give your body the fuel that it needs to be able to actually have energy and thrive and have motivation and better health overall, AG1 is gonna hook you guys up. They got a welcome kit for new customers where if you place an order, you're gonna get 5 of the free travel packs absolutely free, plus a 1-year supply of vitamin D. Click the link in my bio, place your order now, and get feeling better. And thank you, AG1, for sponsoring today's video. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to see what the most controversial truck in the world is capable of doing in the real world. We're gonna be doing a towing test of my Cyber Beast. This is the Cybertruck 3-motor edition that they call a Beast, and it's an insane truck. Very capable, but I have not pulled a trailer or any sort of significant load with it yet. So what we're doing is pulling onto a scale here to weigh the total weight of the truck and the trailer and the payload and everything, because the truck has an 11,000 pound towing capacity, which is pretty high. And then we're gonna compare it to our Ram 5500 heavy rescue truck. These trucks are fairly similar. They both have 37-inch tires, and they're both pretty much stock, other than the Ram has a Fleece Cheetah turbo. The Cybertruck is completely stock, other than we modified the suspension and put bigger tires on it. It comes from the factory with 35s. We had 37s. So I'm gonna pull the trailer on now to get the full weight reading. Keep in mind that we have pretty much identical trailers, both triple axle trailers. I'm pulling my brand new Raw Max car hauler. Diesel Dave's pulling our older load trail trailer. Both tri-axle, both almost the exact same specs, so they should weigh the same. And we're pulling the exact same vehicles. The weight of the vehicles should be almost identical, so this should be a very, very fair matchup. The Cybertruck weighed in pretty much right at an even 20,000 pounds. The Ram with the truck and trailer weighed in at 22,620. Now the reason why that truck's heavier is because the truck in general is just heavier. That truck alone probably weighs close to 11,000 pounds, where this truck weighs closer to 8,000. So there's our weight difference right there. But it's a fair matchup as far as the load goes. Like the trailers and the load on the trailers weigh almost the exact same amount. Now we're gonna go pull a very steep, nasty hill. It is literally spinning the tires. I gave it half throttle just now, and the front tires started slipping and spinning because it's got more weight in the back right now. Listen. Power is not an issue. Very impressed so far. We'll see how it does on the freeway and on hills. These trucks lose a lot of their power the faster you get going because the electric motor is already spinning so fast. So when you go to stomp on it, I mean, it's still got decent acceleration from like 80 to 100, but it's not like you know, a fast car that has a big engine, because electric motors, most of their torque is down on the bottom end and it's pretty much instant. But I literally, I can't even feel this load right now. This is pretty impressive. All right, guys, we are here at the base of Parley Summit. Now keep in mind that my trailer load is actually a little heavier than his because my Jeep has the Hellcat engine, which is a few hundred pounds heavier. He does have a shell and some other accessories, but it's safe to say that the loads are pretty much identical. The extra weight difference on Dave's truck is because his truck has a flatbed and it's just a heavier truck. So this is about as fair as it gets if you're just looking at payload capabilities. So right now we're gonna take off and race. It's about 11 miles long and we're gonna climb approximately 4,000 feet. Now, one thing I gotta say is I just charged the truck last night to 100%. The other test we did yesterday, so I went and got the truck a full fresh battery and I'm already at about 80%. I've used 20% just getting here. So this thing is gonna gobble up the battery as we go up to the top of the hill. And I'm guessing we use every bit of 20%, 25%, but we should gain about 5 to 7% back when we come back down this hill and head back towards the shop. As you guys already know, my money's on the Cybertruck because it's a monster. But remember, the battery is very limited. So I could only do this hill, you know, a couple of times before I'm out of battery, whereas Dave, he could go all day because he's got big fuel tanks. Let's race.
We're about to party, about to test the old Cybertruck versus this Ram 5500. Pulling two of the baddest Jeep Gladiators on the planet. Right, Annie? You want to party? Yeah.
All right, ready, set, go.
Battery life out there, Dave?
It's not good. Guys, this is absolutely bananas. We are doing 80 miles an hour. When typically when I climb this canyon with any other truck with a trailer, we're talking like 40, 50, which is probably about what Diesel Dave's doing. Average speed has been 72.6 miles an hour, and we've gone about 6 miles so far. We got another 5 to go till we get to the summit, and I haven't seen Dave in a minute, pretty much since we left. The comparison is like, there's really no comparison as far as power getting up this hill. This truck absolutely dominates. However, we've already used 20% battery. We started at about 70 at the bottom of the hill, and now we're at 51. So we'll probably get to the top around 45% because we're about to get to the steepest part of the hill now.
Whoa, that guy's at a dead stop in the middle. Holy smokes. It's a good old cruise, huh, Annie?
Fortunately, our Insta360 camera decided to flop over right as soon as we started, so the footage is probably really weird right now. And the drone couldn't keep up. It's only like a 40-mile-an-hour drone, and we were immediately doing 70. So the drone is back there somewhere, just kind of loitering over the highway. We're hoping that it finds a safe spot to land, unlike last time when it didn't find a safe spot to land and got run over. We can't turn back now. We're stuck with this. And that last 5% of battery, since I was talking, just went bye-bye. So we just used 5%, and it's 6% now. I'm only at about 60% throttle. Right here, there's that bar, that white bar, that shows you how much power I'm using. When I accelerate all the way, you'll see that bar goes maxed out. And it was still pulling, which is insane. This isn't practical for everyday driving because if you're driving with a trailer like this, you're just gonna run out of juice immediately. So you would want to drive a little bit more conservatively, but we are almost to the exit. I'm gonna stop the timer here. So we go, boom. All right, so the time shut off there. Now we're gonna start this timer to see how much we beat them by. Jeez, that was nuts. No warnings, no temperature. Everything seems pretty happy. So I hear a fan going. That's the first time I've ever heard a fan. That's probably the cooling fan for the battery pack and the motors, because I guarantee you we just created some serious heat. The battery's at 40%, so that climb used 30% of our battery. Dave's pulling in, passing the exit sign, and boom. Just shy of a minute 30 was what we beat him by, and I guarantee his temps aren't happy. I beat you by a minute 30. Nice and straight down the freeway. We're just gonna go up the hill to my house, which I live on a pretty steep hill up on the mountain here. It's about a 1,000-foot climb from down here where we're at by the shop up to my house. We're gonna climb from about 4,500 feet to just a little over 5,500, so a little over 1,000 foot of climb. And this is a road that you know, all of our trucks notoriously struggle on, even our big semis and stuff, just because it's so steep. Right now, driving around town, I mean, we're on a decent little hill right here. I can't even tell there's a trailer back there. This thing's riding really, really well. I love that cameras because they're like HD, really nice. So I can see my tie-down straps, make sure everything on the trailer is good. I only charge this truck to about 90%, 80 to 90% every day, because you're not supposed to go all the way to 100% for just everyday driving. And so I'll leave my house, and let's say it's at 90%, which is what max charge was that I allowed it to go to. By the time I get to the bottom of the hill to the shop, I'm at like 92 or 93, because the truck is building power as it regenerates all the way down the hill, which is cool because it also saves my brakes, so my brakes don't get hot, and it charges my battery for me. That's one thing I do love about electric vehicles. We are pulling up to the hill that leads up to my house. We're gonna come to a dead stop up here and have Dave pull up next to me, and then we're gonna just, from a standstill, accelerate to the top of the hill and see who makes it there first. Ready, set, go. We just got to the top of the hill, and it's been 15 seconds. I started a stopwatch as soon as we pulled to the top. I mean, we just walked away from them, and we went maybe half a mile. We beat them by over 30 seconds on a maybe quarter-mile run.
All right, now we switch lanes. I'd say it's comparable.
We beat you by 40 seconds.
We're still spooling up.
What else? What else you got? That's it?
That's it. We didn't have breakfast, so...
They didn't have breakfast? That's all right. I'll be lucky to have enough battery to get to the shop. So we just came down the hill from my house. We're about halfway to the shop, and most of the steep hills are behind us. I started coming down the hill at 58%, and we're at 61 now. So the battery regened 3% in, how far was that? 3 miles. So we were getting 1% per mile regen with the load that we have on there, which is really, really impressive. This thing just absolutely rips.
Thinks there's semis everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of ghost vehicles that this thing sees, and people. The creepy thing is people. You just be driving late at night, like parked at a stop sign, and all of a sudden a person that's not there in real life walks by your screen. Well guys, you saw the results. Now obviously there's a lot of factors here that contribute to this, but overall, if you look at my speed, my top speed was 84 miles per hour. Diesel Dave's top speed was 83 miles per hour. My average speed was 75 miles per hour. Diesel Dave's average speed was 62 miles an hour. It took, we both did the exact same length, 9.6 miles, and it took me 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and it took Diesel Dave about 9 minutes and 16 seconds. So we beat him by a little over, like a minute 45, somewhere in there. And it shows you just how fast the Cybertruck was actually accelerating, which is insane. You guys see this clip right here. When we start going, this is a fully loaded truck just launching as we're merging onto the freeway, pulling uphill. So I'm very impressed. Now let's talk about the bad. I have 25% battery left. When I left my house this morning, I had 100%. I used about 20% to get from the shop to the bottom of the hill. I used another 25% to get up the hill, and then I actually gained about 5% coming down the hill, and then the rest I gobbled up driving from the bottom of the hill back to the shop. So it shows that I have gone 63 miles since my last 100% charge, and I have about 25% left. That has been while consuming an average of 1.2 watt hours, 1.2 kilowatt hours per mile. So 1290 watt hours per mile, where this truck normally gets about 590 watt hours per mile. So way better economy when it's not towing, obviously. So right now with the 25% that I have left, if you times that by, you know, the average of 500 watt hours per mile, that means I've got approximately, so it looks like I'm gonna have approximately 42 miles left on this charge if I just drove normally, which sounds about right. So the reason why this is interesting is because obviously this truck has significantly more horsepower to get up the hill and it's instant torque availability, but the drawback is to run out of power like almost immediately. Now keep in mind, a lot of these new trucks only get like 5 to 7 miles to the gallon once you get them fully loaded, and you know, the D8 DPF systems and all the DEF and things like that. So you got to have bigger fuel tanks on your diesel trucks to be able to make the distance work. But overall, I mean, we would have had to stop and charge. First of all, we would have had to try to find a supercharger at the top of the hill if we were to try to keep going. And then we would have had to sat there for roughly 30 minutes to an hour to get a full charge back on. A lot of people, when they do cross-country road trips and stuff like that, they'll go to a supercharger and sit there for maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's just kind of like throwing, you know, 10, 15 gallons of fuel in your vehicle. So when the charging network gets built out, that's going to be, you know, a game changer. Also, battery technology, hydrogen fuel cell technology, all that stuff is going to make a difference when you're talking about how far an EV can go while under a tremendous load like towing, as we just were. So this is not a truck that I would try to tow a trailer really anywhere other than just around town. It was more of a comparison to see what the power was like uphill under, you know, extreme demand. I'm still very impressed with the truck. So now I'm gonna go plug it in, and we're gonna get ready to do our next test, which I would love to hear your guys' input. What do you guys want to see this thing do? Real world applications. How do you want to see us work it? We've got a whole list of stuff that we plan on doing, but if you guys have ideas, drop them in the comments below and let us know what you think. I'm not becoming just an EV guy. That's such a stupid, like, just an ignorant mindset. Like, I'm not just going to choose one or the other. I'm always going to have my diesel pickups. I'm always going to have my semi trucks. I'm always going to have, you know, gas and combustion engine powered vehicles. But I like playing with this EV stuff too, especially for driving around town. Like, the Cybertruck has been one of the most enjoyable vehicles I've ever driven around town. So I think there's room for both. Broaden your horizons and do your best to try to embrace new technology and new ideas, because ultimately that's how we advance as a society and as a civilization. If you have that mentality, you're gonna get left behind. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next test.